All right. Hi there, Bambi.
Hi, Nicole.
Oh,
You know what? I don't think the link that was on our website is working. I actually just joined one of your old links, but when
oh, wait. Okay, so I actually sent it just now to Dana and Dorothy just in case. Just in case it was a different link, because I did go and copy it. I see there's 4 people on. And then what I did was I'm glad that you popped on, but for the lecture, she wanted the videos off of everybody to send it to everybody, but I don't know.
yeah, because the link on the website, it has a link, and when you click on, because that's what I put on my calendar, that doesn't work.
It doesn't, what does it say?
It says invalid, I mean, something.
This is Stephanie. I was just able to go log into Zoom and then put the meeting ID and password in. So yeah, the link didn't work, but if you can put it, if someone can put in just get into Zoom and then input that meeting ID and password, it was fine.
I had to use client. I couldn't download Zoom, so I had to use client to get in.
Had to use client to get in, which is another pathway to Zoom. Oh, okay. FYI. All right, well, let's just get it. And then she did say that what she would do is she's going to send it out to everybody. So I imagine if that one link didn't work, and that was the most obvious link, and if it's not working, I sent her an email just now with another copy of the password and everything, and then also what you guys just said. So then maybe we'll wait a little bit. How's your holidays going so far? What are you finding like is the hardest in terms of staying healthy?
I have on my calendar, just say no to sugar.
I love it.
Every morning, because I'm like, I can't. Oh,
Love that.
that's hard.
That's the hardest thing. And
yes,
you know, it's in the Healthy Holiday Challenge at the end of the lecture. So I'll wait 2 more minutes and then we'll just get started, and then I'll have you guys turn. Can you hear me okay?
yeah.
I'm having a hard time a little bit hearing you. It's very low for me.
It's low.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Okay. Oh, is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
That's much better.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, all right, great. Okay. So I'll ask you guys to turn off your camera just for the recording. But I don't know, I put the chat in there. So what I'll say is that, like, for the people that are actually on the call, even though I'm talking and I'm giving this lecture, because there's so much information about this, and I'll give you the PowerPoint, like Bambi always wanted the PowerPoint. I'm going to give you that. And so, but feel free to type in the chat anything that I'm talking about that pops up in your head about, because your experience, I'm sure people also have that same experience. And then, like, we could touch on that, or even if you have a question. And so I'm just going to share my screen and make sure that we have this presentation mode. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Healthy Holiday Hacks lecture for you and this holiday season. And I'm so glad that you're able to join today. And if you're listening to the recording, you can also join, you could also listen then, and I will be sending out the recording later today. If you were a part of the amazing group from the 6-week challenge that we did for the healthy way to weight loss, we had some tremendous results just in 6 weeks. And so when I talk about the healthy way to weight loss, it's really only a half a pound to 2 pounds a week when you're talking about keeping it off. And we had anywhere from 4 pounds all the way to 16-pound weight loss for those 6 weeks. So there were some amazing transformations, and I'm just so proud of everyone that participated. So for those of you that are listening, we're going to talk about today, in these next 45-50 minutes, the Sweet 16 healthy holiday hacks to get you through both feeling and looking great. And so I've given this lecture a dozen times, probably different tips and tricks. And this one, I just decided to throw out all the stops. Okay, so you guys are getting everything, and I'll be talking a lot, might be talking a little fast, but what I would encourage you to do is write down anything that sticks out for you that you know you're having an issue with, that is helpful for you to keep yourself accountable. Okay, so because let's face it, I mean, the holidays, we are more stressed. We have the flu season. We have germs everywhere. There's Christmas gifts to get, or Hanukkah gifts. There's Kwanzaa gifts. There's money being spent. There's more stress. So this is vital. These tips are vital, and not only throughout the whole year, but especially during the season. We can get extremely depleted if we don't really pay attention. So it's my pleasure to be able to give you this. My name is Nicole Andrews. I'm a registered dietitian and lifestyle educator and functional medicine practitioner, also yoga therapist. So I try to keep in the same realm of health, like a real estate agent or anything like that chart, but let's get going. So in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. And this is just a great quote, because this lecture has a lot of possibilities, but only you know what's going to work for you, because what works for you doesn't work for your neighbor. It doesn't work for your husband or your wife, or partner. And so we have to think about the few possibilities that are going to work for us, because there are many possibilities, but really just a few that work personally for us. And I'm going to make sure, let's see if I can see this chat really quick here on our Zoom, and try to get it in the forefront in case you guys have any questions. Or you know what, maybe I'll just do that afterward. I'll get the chat going, and I'll look afterward at any questions or comments that popped up. So health really embodies mind, body, spirit. And that's why I chose really to get the yoga certification in addition to the functional health and nutrition, because there's so much to health. And it's not just what we're eating, it's about the balance and the emotional state and how we're dealing with that, or not dealing with that. So in this particular lecture, we're going over the holiday eating hacks, the holiday emotional hacks, and the holiday wellness hacks. So that's why there's so many tips, but it really does encompass everything. So I hope you guys enjoy this and find it helpful. So in terms of the eating hacks, let's take a look at skipping meals or letting yourself get too hungry. And this is very common when it comes to eating at holiday parties. A lot of people feel like it's best to just not eat all day, save the calories for the party. But I'm going to tell you why that's not a great idea. You could be experiencing anxiety. Your energy levels won't be the same. You won't feel the same at the party because of the blood sugar dip. And because of that, you lose touch with your hunger and fullness cues when you finally get to the party and you are overindulging. And maybe you saved up for that party, but our body can only process so much at one sitting. So that's why it's not a great idea to skip meals and let yourself get too hungry, especially before a holiday gathering where there's going to be lots of treats and sweets, right? So the other thing is that your digestion gets irregular when you start breaking the pattern of your normal eating schedule. When your body knows it's getting a certain amount of food at certain intervals, it has this pattern, this peristalsis, this way that our digestive tract moves. It will be affected if you're constantly changing your cadence in terms of when you eat and when you don't eat. Diabetics have that advantage because they know they need to eat on a regular basis. So even the people that aren't technically diagnosed with diabetes, it's important to eat on a regular, consistent basis to keep our blood sugar stable so we don't overindulge, right? So speaking of indulgences, we want to allow for occasional indulgences. There was actually a research study done in Australia, and they found they looked at the short and the long-term bouts of overeating. So they took a small group of lean, healthy men, average 22. They put them on high-calorie diets for 5 days to represent overindulging during the holidays, and then 28 days to represent a period of more chronic overeating, and then compared it. So they found that the total visceral fat, which is the actual fat that we don't want, that's the fat, the worst fat, it did increase with these indulgences, along with the blood sugar after your meal. So that's causing that sugar blues mood dip. Your fasting blood sugars were not altered, meaning that our body it does restabilize pretty quickly. The bottom line is that occasional feasting can be a part of a balanced diet unless you start to make it a regular habit, but it does increase that visceral fat. So be careful about overindulging, not just indulging. So you want to be firm, you want to savor just your favorite foods. And this might take some trial and error. Just say no. Like Happy said in the beginning, just say no to sugar. But just say no. So be firm. And if Aunt Margie wants you to try her sweet potato casserole that she worked so hard on, but your blood sugar is going to spike or you're going to get a bellyache from it, you can say, you know what, actually, Aunt Margie, I love you, but my stomach doesn't love that sweet potato pudding or whatever it is, so be firm with what you need for yourself. And don't, depriving yourself of the foods can actually end up backfiring. That's why it's important to find out what your favorites are and don't feel that deprivation, because you'll start to crave them even stronger as time goes on. So it's okay to have those occasional indulgences And they found that people feel more satisfied when they have an occasional indulgence, and they lose weight because they don't binge later on when they're trying to make, just when they just kind of have a weak spot and just go straight for the gusto. And so you want to maybe indulge a little bit. Remember, there's a saying that says the first bite tastes exactly the same as the 30th bite. So keep that in mind. Maybe just a bite or two is all you need. It's just not what we're programmed to do. So find your favorite foods and indulge a little. You might want to do, in terms of eating, in terms of weight loss, so that you don't gain so much visceral fat over the holidays, is to trade your carbohydrates, the potatoes, the breads, all that starchy stuff for your sweet treats. Speaking of sweets, because the total carbohydrates are what count in a day. And if you're eating your sweets with a meal, it tends to balance out your blood sugar more than eating them alone. But because they count as carbohydrates, what you can do as a hack is to take out the carbohydrates, remove your bread, tortilla, rice, crackers, cereal, juice. Be careful, even fruit or potatoes in your meals, to allow the room for the sweet treat. And so there's two different ways you could do it. You could replace the carbohydrates, like I just mentioned, in your meal with a sweet treat instead to enjoy, or swap out high carb foods in your meal for something with less carbs, and then have the remaining carbs and meal with the sweet treat so it doesn't spike your blood sugar. So that's just an example, as maybe you trade your bread or your fruit for the cupcake, or you replace the potato with a low carbohydrate starch that's just like broccoli, which allows you to have that small cupcake. So it's kind of like you're kind of trading out so that you can still indulge in that healthy indulgence way. So another great tip for the holidays, because I don't know about you, but I don't really see a lot of healthy things during the holidays. And so one of my favorite things to do when I'm invited somewhere is to bring something healthy and pretty. I love what they did with this wreath. It's just but raw veggies and a dip, and they just made it really pretty, and the presentation is very festive. So bring something you like that's healthier. So these are some examples I came up with, like an Italian inspired seafood plate, seasonal salad, maybe mini turkey meatloaves or meatballs, Hawaiian holiday shrimp, maybe a deviled egg appetizer, or easy salmon burgers or bites. And, there's different ways that you can decorate these things to be a festive meal idea or holiday treat. So you can make red and green with, herbs or greenery and tomatoes or red peppers, and even just making it colorful in general is so nice. And so see, instead of it just being cheese and meat on this platter in the middle, they added tons of veggies. So olives are a healthy fat that can keep you satiated longer. They added artichokes and basil and little lettuce leaves and pimento peppers and bell peppers. And so it became a really beautiful full wreath as well. And I wanted to say this about this quiche here. Christmas morning, I always make a healthy type quiche, but because I've been gluten-free for 20 years and I'm a gluten practitioner, is that I don't use a crust, even though there are many gluten crusts. I just make mine crustless and roast the vegetables and make sure you squeeze the water out of them and then pour your egg mixture over, bake it. It's so beautiful, and it's such a great thing that you can make ahead of time and then put it in the oven before the time comes for Santa. So one of the best things too is being really mindful of your fluid intake. And so just like a 1 or 2% drop in hydration is enough to alter our reality in terms of judgment, hunger level, food choices. We don't realize that our coordination is altered as well. So golfers really know this because it's such a game of precision. When they get dehydrated, you could really just be off like a quarter of an inch and miss a shot. So make a point to join the Holiday Warrior Challenge. And I'll show you at the end how you could do that. One of those few things is just to drink at least 10 cups of water a day. And that is a great thing to shoot for during the holidays because we're shopping, we're a lot of times we're overworking certain days because we're trying to either make up for a coworker that's out on vacation, or we're trying to do more so that we could take off for vacation. So it's easy to forget. So take a stainless steel bottle, get it from Amazon. I like them because they're non-toxic, they're not plastic, and they keep your water cool or whatever temperature you like. It keeps it that temperature, the stainless steel. And I bring it everywhere. And if you need to drink out of a straw, drink out of a straw. But 10 cups a day is our goal, guys, okay? And another tip in terms of holiday eating, you really want to pick your poison, right? You want to pick your poison, meaning the richest holiday foods. We have to be mindful, right? There's creamy dishes with sauces, desserts, pies, there's sugary cocktails, there's all kinds of casseroles and gravies, there's eggnog and richness around. So be mindful of the rich foods, brie, cheeses. I forgot to add that, but those are very rich. And so when I say pick your poison, I mean, think about where the rich foods are and how much you're indulging in those, and be mindful to choose wisely which indulgences that are heavy and rich that you would like to partake in, because maybe you could forego some of them to enjoy some of them as well. You don't want to just deprive yourself completely. And the plate method, if you're at a buffet style, we did this during the challenge as well, is always a good idea. So think about, maybe they have a beautiful salad on the table. Fill half your plate up with the salad. It's a mind game. So you don't really have room for that much other stuff. And you eat and you fill up on the non-starchy veggies. And so that's a really great tip when it comes to a buffet style or whatever kind of party you're at, is remember the plate method. Also, as you're eating, wait 20 minutes. Oh, sorry, that got cut off. Wait 20 minutes. This is so hard, especially for some guys that eat fast. I've slowed down my eating, not just because of the trigeminal neuralgia, but I also slowed down my eating because it takes 20 minutes for your body to realize it's full or the food has hit bottom yet. And if you're talking and eating and excited, you could be eating way like double that you really were, when aside from if you had stopped and then realized you were full at only just half that amount. So eat more mindfully. You might want to put your fork down between bites, because you might have to add a tactile behavior into that so that you can eat slower or chew more, and just enjoy the conversation around. Maybe you talk more, which makes, you eat less because you're doing the talking, you're not as much eating, because we don't want to talk with our mouth full, right? So those are the best eating hacks in terms of the holidays. Let's quickly jump to the healthy lifestyle hacks, because these are important as well. Now, there's a lot of parties and outings. This is common when you're in a corporation, when you're in any kind of avenue where you have a lot of, whether it's obligational or whether it's for fun with friends, think about a couple questions, okay? Think about, is this outing mandatory? Is it a work party? Do you have to go? Will this contribute to my overall well-being? You know, am I gonna go out on Atlantic Ave with my girlfriends when I have so many other holiday commitments? That would not contribute to my overall well-being as much as it would be fun. It's all about conserving your energy during this time, especially that I'm one of the few moms in my group. So will this outing bring me closer or away from my goals in life? So this just goes to show, like, is it a work party? Is it an outing where, you know, you're not really there, mind, body, spirit, you're there more because you felt like you had to go. So, but think about how is it relating to your life in general? Is it going to, it's going to bring you closer or pull you away from your ultimate goal? What are the benefits from going to this outing? Is there someone there I want to meet? Is there someone there I want to talk to? Is there someone there I want to connect with? Is there something I'd like to offer to this party as an offering to give back? What are the benefits and how will I feel if I do and if I don't go? So a quick pros and con list, and not saying yes right away, not saying no right away. You could say, maybe I'll think about it, and then go through this list. So another wellness hack in the holidays is to keep your routine, your morning routine. Say if you have a morning routine, it's very tempting to wake up and go shopping instead and get all these other things done instead. But I will tell you, it will backfire on you. So keep your routines as much as possible, and you'll find it will help you during the stressful times. So for example, the morning, wake up around the same time every day, you meditate, shower, work out, whatever your morning routine is, you keep it. Same with the evening routine. If you have an evening routine, keep it. If you have, if you can find yourself in a healthy routine, whether it's one thing or morning or evening, keep up with your routine. It's so vital during these few weeks of the holidays, because it will help your stress level, your emotional level, your physical level, and it will help the people around you as well, because you won't be so cranky and off your routine. Because I know if I miss my morning routine, I'm totally off for the day. It's something you have to discover as time goes on. So fit in movement, and this is something, even if you're not exercising now, because of all of the parties and extra food and calories and sweets, we want to aim to fit in movement. And so think about where you're at now and how you can keep it, rather, one, consistent, or two, add in a 10-minute walk. So these are just some examples here. You could do 2 Tabata sprints every day. You could do, set your goal first. So aim for your daily or weekly goal. I know for me, it's not a weekly goal, it's a daily goal. But you have to decide what works best for you. You could choose to do an abs or glutes challenge, which I'll give you guys the link for that. I made those last year and they're only 6 minutes each. 6 minutes a day for 30 days. And you could do a 20-minute brisk walk around, you could create a non-negotiable schedule for yourself. For example, if you find a gym, you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday throughout the holidays, I'm going to make it to this 6:45 class. That's an example of something you're going to fit in movement and set it up in a way that's non-negotiable. And if worse comes to worse, and then none of this above works, you're going to park far, far away from your store that you have to go to and move that way, or just take the stairs. So those are options. There's always options, but during the holidays, we want to fit in movement because it helps with our emotional state. So adding in sprints, if you're already working out, is going to help accelerate your metabolic burn throughout the entire day. And so it also helps, sprints help increase human growth hormone, which keeps us young. It's like an anti-aging effect. Even though it's so hard, sprints should not be easy or else you're not sprinting. It's supposed to be hard. And you could just start with 1 or 2. But my favorite sprinting tool is Tabata. And Spotify has all kinds of Tabata lists, playlists that time you, and they say 3, 2, 1, go. You sprint for 20 seconds as fast as you can. And then when it tells you 3, 2, 1, stop, you rest for 10 seconds. Now, one Tabata is 8 rounds, but you might just do 2, and that's okay because you work up to it. But that's a great tool. One of the other things I would say to do is to really identify your triggers. And this takes some slowing down, but getting triggered during the holidays, it can lead to over drinking, overthinking, overeating, isolation, or on the flip side, if you're more on the social end, like a wave versus an island, you overindulge in every party. That could be how you deal with that trigger too. But identifying your triggers is what's most important. So whether it's feeling overwhelmed, overtired, emotionally charged, maybe something or somebody or some experience triggered you. Maybe it was a family member, which is oftentimes the case. Or you're just feeling out of balance. You're just not on your game because you're not keeping your routine set and active. So there's all kinds of triggers. The key is to identify them, and maybe because you're listening to this, you think, well, now I will identify them. So you'll feel something in your body, whether it's your chest, your stomach, your head. Ask your body to show you what's not serving you best, and it will. And that's an example of a trigger. What triggered that feeling is what you want to be mindful of. And so listen to your body. And this is one of the ways that you'll help to identify those triggers, because sometimes we just don't know what our triggers are, and we just kind of figure it out, or just deal with it in an unhealthy way. But listening to your body and slowing down will help you identify those triggers. So allow yourself some leeway. I don't think that has a dash. I don't know what that. During this time, allow yourself some time to slow down. Take more power naps. A power nap is no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Go to bed earlier when you can. When you don't have a holiday party, get a foot massage or a massage. Wash your hands a lot. It's flu season. It's just a great way to help yourself to slow down. And if you don't slow down, our bodies will slow us down by getting sick. And that's the problem with avoiding slowing down, is that if we don't slow down and do what our body's asking us to do, boom, guess what? You're sick with the flu now during the holidays, and now you have to slow down. So you choose, or your body will choose for you. Rest when you need to. Delegate tasks. A lot of times you can ask for help, and a lot of people, that's their biggest issue, is that they don't know how to. And that's something to discover. And let people know you're slowing down this time of year. I let my clients know. I let a lot of people know, because it's a busy time of year, especially if you have littles. So getting enough sleep. This is so vital to the holidays. Here's why. The goal of sleep is to get 7 to 9 hours a night. It does matter when we go to bed, and studies show between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is where we get our deepest sleep. And I do have a sleep solutions e-guide. I can gift that to you if you want, and make it a priority, because in sleep is where we restore our body. And lack of sleep, on the flip side, causes higher circulating insulin, which means you're going to be hungry all day. When I don't get enough sleep, I'm starving all day. Your mood is off. You're not motivated. And if this continues, it leads to adrenal fatigue. And you wake up one day and you don't even feel rested. And that becomes a problem. So here we go with the next emotional hacks. So the holiday emotional hacks, these are really important, is to manage the stress, to deal with your emotions. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people do not acknowledge their feelings, but we need to. So reach out, acknowledge your feelings, reach out to a friend, reach out to a therapist, reach out to a coach, and be realistic about this time of year. We want to stick to a budget and plan ahead. These are things that help us manage our stress. So keeping our mental and physical health top priority is what we really want. And we want to give ourselves permission to take a breather. And that will help deal with our emotions as well. So when you find yourself in a state, feel like, take a moment, take some time out, give yourself permission to breathe, acknowledge what you're feeling, and then reach out. And also not to have too much expectations, because expectations during this time of year is a huge trigger for a lot of people that lead to letdown and lead to emotional disturbances. So manage your expectations as well. Having none is always a good thing, or having the bare minimum and hoping for the best. So a lot of people are alone during this time of year. It's important not to isolate. Acknowledge your feelings. If you're feeling lonely, if you really do want to stay home alone, or if it's just that voice in your head saying that, talk to someone who's going to understand. Talk to someone else who's alone maybe, and see family and friends. You could do it over Zoom if they're long distance, and you could do it over you could go to their house, you could ask them to come to you, but it's definitely it could be triggering, or it could be very nurturing. So try to just find out what works for you and who exactly it is that you want to incorporate into your life this year that's more nurturing than triggering. So treat yourself to some holiday pampering, whether that's buying a new holiday outfit or a concert. Immerse yourself in nature. There's so many beautiful lights and walking paths this time of year, and even volunteering can help with that, because I know when I'm not feeling so good, helping others helps me as well. And so there's so many opportunities these days to give back and not isolate. So the other tip for emotional balance is to engage all your senses. It's not just food, it's the beautiful decorations, the smell of the Christmas tree, the laughter of children, getting back in touch with what's important to you, putting on your favorite holiday movie or music and lighting candles. Maybe you want to go somewhere new. These are all things that can help instead of going through day to day without even noticing, and easy in Florida because the weather doesn't change so that much. So we want to unplug more and also engage our senses so that we can become more present in this season, and which also keeps us healthy during the holidays. There are so many ways to celebrate without food. We tend to make food the centerpiece of the holidays, but they're not. They're not. And there's so many other things. We could play a new fun game. We could learn to play an old game like chess. Maybe you don't know how to play chess, and you can ask your, someone in your family or a friend to teach you. You can go see a holiday show or performance, decorate with something new. Maybe you never made a popcorn string to put on your tree, and that could be something new. You could try a new hobby, or ice skate, or love bomb, which is great, meaning you reach out to a list of people that have really touched your life over the year, and send them a beautiful message, because we oftentimes get stuck in our normal routine of making Christmas cards, shopping for X, Y, and Z, finishing up projects, and we forget about other options out there that are just so fulfilling and can add so much happiness and joy during this season and in general. So take some time to reflect. We want to be more grateful. Gratitude practice is a wonderful thing. I think about anytime I'm feeling down, I think about all the things I'm grateful for, and it just pivots myself around. We want to be more present, like I just mentioned. Take time or money to invest in yourself. It's a lot of giving this holiday year, in the holiday season. So think about how to get back to you, give back to yourself, and ask yourself how you could be of service to others. I just mentioned this, but know it's okay to let go, and to ideas and people and activities and things that are no longer serving you. I can't tell you how many times I've run into people or clients that talk to me about, the traditions that they keep up that they loathe. Like, well, life is pretty short. You might want to switch tactics, and see how you can go about doing that. So the Healthy Holiday Challenge is something that is so great that I would really recommend you guys committing to this Holiday Challenge, and where we just do 5 things every day. And you could post about it in the Warrior group. You can, I would love to hear your feedback on it. And I'll have this available for you with the lecture recording on your email. And it's right there as well. Cut off. So some of the things I offer moving forward, if you're interested, is my signature program. This has become the only way I work privately with clients at this time in my practice, only because I've seen what works and I've seen what doesn't work. 6 weeks seems to be the magic number, consecutive weeks. And we go through your nutrient levels. We go through whole foods. We go through maybe a genetics test, but we meet for 6 weeks over Zoom, and we talk about your personal roadblocks and your goals and help you meet them over the course of 6 weeks. And now people say, now that don't pay attention to these prices, because this is where they'll be probably next year. But for this year, I'm giving half off to anybody who signs up before January 1st. This is the Insiders Accountability Group, and this is something new where participants in any challenge or the 6-week accountability signature program like to transition to. So it's a weekly meeting. It's not on Facebook, it's on Zoom. We meet weekly, and we talk about a deep dive into a specific topic. And we also talk about what your action plan is to hold you accountable for your action plan that you set. And next week we meet every single week, so it holds you accountable for a year straight. This is the Insiders Accountability Group. So I hope you guys join me for that. And I also, last but not least, have the 14-day body reset challenge. It's a vegan challenge, and you're replacing one meal with 1 shake a day, and it's all in the guidebook that comes with the kit. And I believe there's a few more left at a discounted rate. So make sure you look those up on the link that I send, or at eternitywarrior.com under challenges. This is one of my favorite quotes. I have come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. I possess tremendous power to make life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis is escalated or de-escalated, and a person is humanized or dehumanized. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. If we treat people as they ought to be, we help them become what they are capable of becoming. And I just think that it's always about perspective and perception. So keep this in mind as we go through the holidays. You are in control, and that's really what matters. And to realize that the Christmas season, regardless of your denomination, religious or atheist or whatnot, is much more than just all of the extra things we see in these few months. It has a deeper, more spiritual meaning that helps to change not only us inside, but also helps us to change our environment and the people around us to help us become closer to the people we're meant to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this holiday lecture. And remember, even though this is blurry, you do not need glasses. Christmas isn't a season, it's a feeling. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me stop the share on this wonderful holiday lecture. If you're interested in any of the programs that I mentioned, I'll put them in the email that I send, and hopefully you guys get that email through the company. And I'll also send a copy of this lecture and a copy of the PowerPoint as well, so that you have all those wonderful holiday tips. So I wish you a very blessed, happy, and holiday and safe Christmas season, Hanukkah season, Kwanzaa season. God bless you, and I hope to see you all in the near future. Thanks, guys.